On this episode of The Third Eye, we find out why Aretha Franklin is my long lost grandmother, why Otis Redding is Lisan Al Gaib, and why TikTok was secretly invented in the 1950s. Don't go away.
Get on, boy.
You can check your time with my time. It is officially 10 minutes past 11 on the 30th of April. The year is 2024, and you are currently listening to The Third Eye with your boy Indigo Saint, mathematician, hip hop artist, crypto enthusiast, investor. And you'll never guess what we're going to talk about today. Or maybe you might, because I kind of gave it away in the intro, you know. Yeah, we're going to talk about heritage and how Aretha and I are actually related, you know? We're not really. Maybe just in the sense that, like, we're both goats. You know what I mean? But yeah, today we're going to be talking about, we're going to do a little deep dive into genre, you know what I mean? Into R&B. I was just thinking about what I do. I've been giving a lot of thought to that. Just thinking about hip hop and what I do and just like its origins, where that comes from. And then also just thinking about like my own music and my influences and everything that I do, So, as the guy that I am, I had to go and do a little bit of research and really like dive in and find out like a little more about specifically about R&B. I wanted to do a deep dive into hip hop, and I was like, nah, that's gonna be easy. I wouldn't even have to research too much on that. But with the R&B bit though, I just thought like, yeah, I thought like that could be something. That I could like use to practice my research skills, and also like some of the information that I found, some of the things that I found were really, really interesting. I think one of the things that like really stuck with me, or I can't really say it took me by surprise, but something I was really proud of is just the influence of black culture on like literally everything. Do you know what I mean? Like everything, and with music, I was like, oh, okay, rhythm and blues, was there a genre called rhythm, and because I know there was a genre called blues, and that's pretty much like what this was, what this is, there's a bird outside also going in its own rhythm, but yeah, but rhythm and blues, came out in the 1940s, and the foundations of it were blues. And I don't know if you know any blues songs, if you know any blues artists, but a lot of the music in there, like the themes were just like hardship, like love, resilience, and it was so raw. It was so raw, and yeah, and that was like kind of like the beginning phases, the beginning stages of R&B, but like also just like the other aspects are just borrowed from like gospel, with just like the rhythms and the vocals of gospel music. I don't know if you listen to Hillsongs or if you have any favorite, gospel musicians, but the vocals are so powerful. The rhythms, right? Like so choir inspired. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like you'd imagine that's your reception when you get to heaven, and like R&B is just like a lot of like there's a lot of harmonies, a lot of harmonies. I don't know if you listen to you should listen to Beyonce either way, or if you listen to who, maybe like Kehlani, or if you listen to Haley Bailey or Chloe, layered with just harmonies upon harmonies. And then there's like a jazz aspect to it as well, just like so many complicated, rhythms. I recently started listening to, not recently, but for a while I've been listening to John Coltrane and to Miles Davis as well, and just the complexity in the rhythms, you know what I'm saying? In just like the swings, being able to move from one aspect to another. It's so I don't know what the word that I want to use is, intentionally done, but it feels improvised. Do you get what I mean? Like it feels like there's no structure to it, but there's a deliberateness in that sense. So that's R&B. At least that's what it, those are like kind of its early forms and like where it came from. So rhythm and blues, that term also just coming from, I think it came from in the 1940s, like late 1940s, and that became an industry term, so, and which is crazy because like the industry really is what determines what a genre is, so because I'm from Africa, if I make pop, it will automatically be defined as Afro pop, which is nothing wrong with that. But see, it's just that like I didn't really choose that. It's like, and it's an industry term anyway. But yeah, so that was so it, like the term R and B, right, which is an ampersand. We say RNB, right, which is kind of like a slang way of saying it, I guess. But either one is correct, right? But R&B, so that's the record industry term for energetic blues influenced music, basically. And in the 40s, like that music was aimed predominantly at African American audiences, and yeah, and then like in the 50s, then it's just like kind of continued to evolve, and there were more elements, started incorporating more elements of gospel and jazz, and we're going to talk about some of the artists a little bit later. But the impact of R&B generally on like popular music is like we can't deny it. We cannot deny it, and it basically paved the way for everything. I mean, for rock and roll, for rock music, and what else? And I mean, and funk, and funk also influenced hip hop. So I really, just by doing a little bit of like research and really diving into it, I started to have a little more appreciation for the genre, because like without it, we wouldn't. I don't see how we'd have. I don't see how we'd have hip hop. You know what I mean? It's kind of the genesis of the hip hop story, I would say. But yeah, we're gonna talk about a little more in the following parts, but that's just kind of like an intro, just a little intro, just so we can just getting a little bit warmed up. We're getting a little bit warmed up, but yeah, we're gonna be back. We're just gonna make sure that the lights stay on, and catch you literally in just a bit. Hey, what's up? This is your boy, it's Indigo Saint. Listen, I know you're enjoying the content that you're listening to right now, but I just wanted to take a little bit of time just to say to you and to everyone else who's going to find this, just want to say thank you so much for listening to every episode that we've put out in the Third Eye, and for subscribing and liking and commenting. Every time you guys interact with the content that I do put out, it goes a long, 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 long way. I just want to say I do have something for you. So if you haven't seen the previous episodes that I've done, please go to the channel and watch the last episode before this one and see the little surprise that we have in store for you. What I can say is it's something that's big, and it's something that's going to be super useful for you. So again, thank you so much to each and every one of you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. And make sure to share the Third Eye with all of your friends and family. Much love.